When Christians say, Islam spread by the sword, this accusation is often delivered with moral certainty, as though Christianity itself spread through purity, peace, and consent. But history tells a far darker story, one that is rarely confronted honestly. Islam did not spread through forced conversion. The Quran states plainly, there is no compulsion in religion. 2:56. Under Muslim rule, Jews and Christians lived openly for centuries, worshipping in their churches and synagogues, running their own courts, preserving their scriptures. If conversion were forced, these communities would not have survived generation after generation. Now contrast this with how Christianity spread once it gained power. When Christianity became the state religion of the Roman Empire, religious tolerance ended, pagan temples were destroyed, alternative Christian sects were hunted, people were imprisoned, tortured, and executed for theological disagreement. Faith was no longer a choice, it was enforced. But the most devastating chapter came later. Christian expansion into Africa, the Americas, and the Caribbean was not peaceful evangelism. It was conquest wrapped in scripture. European powers arrived with Bibles in one hand and chains in the other. Entire civilizations were shattered. Indigenous peoples were slaughtered, displaced, or enslaved. Children were ripped from families and beaten until they abandoned their languages, cultures, and beliefs. Slavery was not an accident of history. It was theologically defended. Christian slave owners quoted the Bible to justify owning human beings. Priests blessed slave ships. Churches were funded by plantation profits. Enslaved Africans were told their suffering was God's will, while their captors sang hymns on Sunday. Millions died. Millions more lived and died without names, dignity, or freedom, all under the banner of Christian civilization. And yet, when this history is mentioned, Christians quickly respond, that wasn't true Christianity. Those were just bad people. That was politics, not religion. But when Muslims fight wars, even defensive ones, Islam itself is condemned. This is the double standard. Christian empires forced conversion, erased cultures, and justified slavery using scripture. Yet Christianity is described as a religion of love that merely suffered misuse. Islam, which explicitly forbids forced belief and preserved religious minorities, is accused of spreading by the sword. Even the Crusades, wars of invasion that massacred entire cities, are softened as complex historical events. The Inquisition becomes an embarrassment, not a defining legacy. Colonial genocide becomes a footnote. So the question is not whether violence existed. Every civilization has blood on its hands. The real question is this: why is Islam eternally guilty, while Christianity is eternally excused? If Islam must answer for every Muslim ruler, then Christianity must answer for slave ships, mass graves, stolen lands, and broken peoples, all carried out under the cross. Until that standard is applied equally, the accusation, Islam spread by the sword, is not a moral argument. It is hypocrisy dressed as concern.